I'm Peter Hayman. I work for SARDI, which is the research arm of PIRSA, and I work in climate applications and how do we use climate science in farming systems. So when we look at the data for the Limestone Coast, and there's some good data here, it's really clear that there's warming, that things are getting warmer, pretty much the same as the rest of Australia and really the rest of the world. Interestingly, the Limestone Coast probably isn't warming quite as fast because of the coastal area. The Bonnie upwelling actually keeps the area a little bit cooler than it would otherwise be. On top of that, there's drying, and we can see that from the 70s, many regions have had quite strong drying, especially in the winter and spring period. And you talk to producers and they'll talk about how wet it was when they were kids and how dry it is now. So there's warming and drying. Both of those are projected to increase in the future. So the farming systems here are really talking about grazing and cropping. Both of them would actually benefit from a little bit of warmer, drier winters, but what they don't want is warm and dry springs. And so one of the worries is that if we were to have a reduction in rainfall in spring and some of the heat coming in early in spring, that would be of concern. Australian farmers have always been adaptive, and that's very true in the Limestone Coast. Yes, these will be challenges, but I think there is lots of ways in the short term that farmers will adapt to this warming and drying. One of the important things is that almost all agriculture that's practiced here is practiced in a warmer and drier location pretty nearby, and there's lots to learn from that. One of the challenges is adapting to a warmer, drier future, with both the opportunities and challenges of that. There will also be policies to reduce greenhouse gases, and that's very real for livestock producers, and most of them are very aware of this as a factor. So farmers have to consider carbon farming, ways to cleverly manage the challenges of reducing emissions and accounting for their emissions. That's a huge topic, but that's one of the challenges for adaptation, along with prices, along with market access, and the warming and drying. These are all multiple factors that interact. One of the things we do need is information-rich farming systems. And there's lots of opportunities with ag tech, but also climate information. There's information from the Bureau of Meteorology on short-term weather. Then there's the seasonal time frame, El Nino, La Nina, Indian Ocean Dipole, how is that affecting the outlook over the coming 3 months? What's going to happen this coming spring? And the Bureau of Meteorology is a great site to find that information. And then there's also the longer term outlook and what that might be over the coming decades. And so the Climate Services for Agriculture is a great site that you can look up and you can actually see for your location what the models are saying, how the temperature will change, how the rainfall will change. And you can put in a threshold and say, I'm worried about hot days during joining in this month. And you can look at what's the chance of that and how that might change into the future. There's also really good information on local climate change projections from the Department of Environment and Water. When you read these reports and look at these apps, it can be fairly depressing. One of the really important things is that we keep talking about this, and the Landscape Board is a great way to engage with that, and the forums that they offer, and farming systems groups like the MacKillop Group are just wonderful ways that farmers get together, learn and talk to each other, because that's one of the best resources to maintain a sense of reality, a sense of optimism, a sense of we can face these challenges, we've had challenges in the past, we can manage them, but it's much better to do them together.